Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP-led alliance is currently leading in early counting trends in the general election. But the main opposition alliance is doing better than expected. The numbers at the moment are well short of the landslide predicted by exit polls for Mr Modi. Markets in India have fallen 6%. These are very early results and the tally could change as more votes are counted across India. The BBC's Arun Uday Mukherjee is in Delhi with the latest.
Well, thanks very much for that. Yes, we continue to track the numbers and try to piece together the picture that has been emerging since counting began at 8 in the morning Indian Standard Time. But what is the biggest headline takeaway so far, even as we're yet to get the final picture, is the fact that what was widely anticipated to be a BJP landslide victory, in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's own words, the BJP was set to get more than 400 seats in a 543-strength parliament. Well, that doesn't seem to be happening, and that in itself is the big political headline that we can convey to you as we speak, as the numbers are being counted. In this election, you had Prime Minister Narendra Modi banking on his last 10 years in power of the ruling BJP. You also had dozens of opposition parties banding together, forming the India Alliance to take him on. So while the BJP seems to have lost some ground and there have been some upsets in some states, especially in the key state of Uttar Pradesh, which sends the maximum number of lawmakers, that is 80, to the Indian Parliament, there are also some gains that the opposition alliance has been talking about. But early on in the election, what really grabbed headlines was the divisive nature of the campaigning that was led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, which is a Hindu nationalist party. Many people saw some of the comments as widely referring and targeting to India's 14% of the Muslim community, which is India's largest minority. My colleague Yogita Lamai has been reporting out of the BJP headquarters, and she spoke to the national spokesperson Syed Zafar Islam on how the BJP has been defending the allegations of them carrying out a divisive campaign and what they make of the numbers.
This campaign, it has been particularly divisive. Some of the most strong remarks have come from the Prime Minister, where he actually referred to Muslims as infiltrators during a campaign rally. If he becomes the Prime Minister again, what do you plan to do to make an outreach towards minorities who constitute the Muslim minority, constitute more than 14% of the population?
No, I think the statement itself is incorrect. He made a statement about infiltrators from Bangladesh.
That's not true, sir.
That's not.
I will quote his.
I'm fully aware that we have always spoken about it. This is not first time. We will continue to speak about it, because those who are coming from Bangladesh.
Sir, he did not talk about that.
Those who are coming from Bangladesh.
Said when the Congress
let me just respond.
I know, but sir, I'm just rebutting you because you're.
No, it's
can I quote his statement to you?
I will let you quote later, but let me reply you first. That these are now election campaign is over. You may construe something what we have intended to speak about the Bangladeshi infiltrators, and you can construe whatever you want to, but fact is that is what the indication, and it's not the first time. We'll continue to speak about it. As far as the Muslim community is concerned, just see the welfare scheme. I mean, this is what you take care, how you take care of your citizen, by the correct governance model, and the governance model is such that Muslim community, as you said, they represent only 14%, but in terms of the benefits which they have received is around 26%. That itself suggests that we have a governance model where the needy are being looked after and their interests are being safeguarded by the government under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister.
You've had your say, sir, but I have to quote what he said back to you. He said when the Congress government was in power, they said Muslims have the first right on the nation's wealth. So they'll collect the wealth and give it to whom? To infiltrators, to those who have many children. You cannot construe from that he was talking about Bangladeshi.
Let me correct you. There are many Muslims in West Bengal who actually come from Bangladesh illegally, and they cannot have rights on their resources.
Yes, but he did not make
that resources are made for the citizen.
He did not talk about illegal immigrants.
You may not know, but the people of India knows that who we speak about.
If Prime Minister Modi becomes the third time Prime Minister, quite historic, only the second time in the history of India that would have happened. What are your top 3 priorities?
First of all, there is absolutely no doubt about it. We will form the government. We will win with thumping majority. Our government will be led by the Honorable Prime Minister, and he will continue to the policy which we have been continuing for the last 10 years, a policy of reforms, structural reforms, acceleration in economic growth, foreign investments, and always look after, as a priority, the citizen of this country. So every policy decision he takes, His first priority is country and the citizen of this country. So we will always work towards that.
And if you win, whatever majority it is by, what does that, why do you think, why is Mr. Modi so popular on the ground?
See, last 10 years, whatever we had suggested, we have delivered. Just do a back testing. Previous government, they used to give slogans, Bijli Pani Sadak, they will provide home to shelters to people who do not have roof. They will provide electricity connection, water connection, but nothing happened. It is the Honorable Prime Minister in the last 10 years have changed the mindset because people have experienced that themselves, that those who had no electricity connection, they are getting electricity connection. Those who had no toilets in their home, they are getting toilets in their home. It is being built by the government. Those who had no water connection, they are getting a new tap connection in their home. Likewise, gas connection, likewise roof, and many other facilities which is being provided so that there is an ease of living for the common man on the street. This is what they have done, and that's why he has won the admiration of the people of this country. And if whatever the result be, whether it's 400, whether 370, whether whatever is the final outcome, it is primarily because of the love and admiration of the people of this great country. They have voted for the Prime Minister. They had voted in the past. They are voting this time also to ensure that a good governance model continues in the country.
Do you have any learnings from this campaign, from this election that you're taking back?
I think if after every election, every political party introspect. We also introspect after every election, and whatever course correction needs to be taken, always we take.
All right, that was my colleague Yogita Lemai in conversation with the BJP Syed Zafar Islam, as you heard, giving a sense of what they make of the results so far, and also those campaign speeches that we heard. I'd just like to bring in Mr. Javed Ansari, political commentator and journalist who's tracked elections for a very long time now. He's helping us decode what we're seeing. What are you making of the results as we see it? It was a big prediction of a landslide. There was a lot of anticipation, 400 seats plus for the BJP. Is this a shock and a surprise for the BJP?
Certainly, it punctures this myth, their myth of invincibility, which was built around not just by the BJP, but also by some of their cheerleaders. This talk of 400 was fueled by some psephologists and exit pollsters, all of whom have now had to eat crow, because the results have actually turned on their head. I do believe that the BJP is still poised to form the government. They are the single largest party. At least they will be given the first shot at forming the government. If they and their allies do not even have the majority, they will be given a chance to prove that. But the fact of the matter is that these results have come as a shocker and proved a lot of the naysayers and a lot of the pollsters wrong.
Mr. Ansari, 2014 elections when Prime Minister Modi came to power, the BJP got 282 seats, again absolute majority. 2019, 303 seats, again absolute majority. This time around, for the first time, the BJP on its own appears, again, I'm cautioning, appears to not be crossing the halfway mark of 272. What does that mean for brand Modi and having to form a coalition?
One, it proves that nobody is invincible and nothing in life and in politics lasts forever. There is a sell-by date for everything. Two, it's not just the 2 terms that he's already been Prime Minister, even the 3 terms that he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, he had a majority of his own. So he had his own way. He could dictate terms of government. Now with a coalition, now with a government on which he will be dependent on the crutches of his coalition partners, he will not always have his own way. And this is not something that comes naturally to him.
That's interesting. And a word on the opposition alliance, which banded together, dozens of political parties coming together to take on the BJP. How do you think they have fared? What has gone in their favor? Do you think this is more of a victory? Well, victory would be too early to say, but is this a better performance for the opposition or a worse performance for the BJP?
A better performance for the opposition by any yardstick. The opposition appears to have surprised itself when this election began. Even they didn't realize that they were in with a chance. It was only after the first round of polls, and you have to give them some credit, particularly Rahul Gandhi, who single-handedly created the conditions, created the atmospherics, the optics for this opposition to Mr. Modi. They've raised issues. This time they have succeeded in keeping issues local. They've raised issues of joblessness, of agrarian crisis, of price rise, of issues that matter to people, whereas Mr. Modi ran, I am unfortunately very sad to say, ran a very divisive campaign. They kept it very local, and that's where they appear to have succeeded.
But Prime Minister Modi has always been harping on how he's elevated India's stature in the world, how the economy is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So what do you think went against them then?
Arunda, the easiest thing in the world is to be a legend in your own mind. We are the fastest growing economy in the world. That is one side of the story. The other side of the story is that out of a population of 1.4 billion, 800 million people still have to be given free rations. So the gap between the reality and the hype was stark, and this time it has come home to roost. He got away for the last 10 years by blaming all that was going wrong on the opposition. 10 years is a long time to remain in power. Now the people have this time the people have asked questions of him on what has he done and why has he failed to deliver on his promise of 2 crore jobs every year.
All right, Mr. Ansari, we'll have to leave it there. I'm afraid we're running out of time, but thank you very much for your time. So as far as the numbers right now are concerned, the BJP is still poised to form the government, but possibly with coalition partners. But again, we'll have a clearer picture in the next couple of hours. But one picture which was very interesting as we were tracking the day earlier on in the morning, as soon as the counting began, was how the Indian markets responded to the counting figures that were coming in. The markets fell and they are still posting jittery numbers, which really, in a sense, gives a feel of how the Indian economy or Indian businesses are responding to the results. What was expected to be a landslide for the BJP has not been the case, and that's why you're seeing these figures also reflect in the market, something that my colleague Archana Shukla picked up on from outside the Bombay Stock Exchange.
Here at the Bombay Stock Exchange, the mood is a bit somber as investors are keenly watching the financial markets, where stocks, bonds and rupee all fell in the opening trade after initial vote counting trends showed that Prime Minister Modi's BJP and his alliances may not be on course to winning an overwhelming majority as was predicted earlier. Remember, Monday trade saw record highs. The markets rallied post-exit polls that predicted a thumping victory for Modi and continuity to his infrastructure-led economic policies. Trends show that Modi is still on course to win a historic third term in India, but analysts say any majority lower than what the alliance had won in 2019 will keep investors anxious on whether the pace of economic reforms will continue at the same pace as it did earlier.
I think that is a sentiment that needs to be reflected repeatedly, because the economy has found itself in the discourse, in the political discourse, in the run-up to the political campaigns, as well as throughout the campaign as well. Because if this indeed turns into a coalition government, something that we've not seen in the past 10 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, well then you're looking at a lot of policy which will have to rely on consensus of other political parties. So that in itself becomes significant, because then it becomes a matter of taking everyone along, uniting ideas and taking different views as you go along, fixing issues that continue to plague the economy. One thing before I hand back, as we track the elections, what are some of the key areas that really we need to focus on? One was economy, as we pointed out. The other is a critical state of Uttar Pradesh in northern India. Why is this state important? This is the state which sends the maximum number of lawmakers to the Indian Parliament, that is 80. It is here that the BJP won 62 seats last time. Many people say in Indian politics, the road to New Delhi and government formation goes through Uttar Pradesh because of its sheer size. So whoever does well in this state has a lot of say, or has a lot of the numbers, because then they just need a bit more to go ahead and complete the halfway mark. But that is why it is important to look at what is happening in this state. We've spoken to a number of analysts. They say that this is one state which is throwing up a few surprises, and that's something that we need to keep watching out for. The full picture is not out yet, so it's something that we're still looking at. It is work in progress. The numbers are still coming in, so it is important to point that out.
Arun O'Day, thank you very much for that analysis there from Delhi. Well, plenty more on the results of the election in India on the BBC News website. We've got a live page running there for you right now. You can see all of the latest results as soon as they come in. Just head to the website